All right, everybody, we're here with the fabulous Ayesha Kreutz, who the fabulous one. All right, she uh, she started the Douglas Foundation in Rochester, and actually in New York. I'm sorry, in New York. And to me, she's like very, very intelligent when it comes to politics. One of the very few that I like talking to because you learn a lot from her. I learned a lot from her, and not for nothing. I want to say this real quick. All right, did I ever tell you how sexy it is for the like how the intelligent woman, like how sexy it is for the intelligent woman? Did I ever tell you that?
No, you
that
did
that
not.
that intelligent women are sexy. I'll tell you right now. But hold on. But tell your husband not to take the wrong way. I don't want to be, not for nothing. I don't want to be like looking around corners, looking around, looking behind my back and everything else. But really,
No, he'll be okay. He'll be
no,
okay.
but
But
intelligent.
the same thing goes for us, Hey, intelligent men, man, you know, that's what it's even probably not exactly on topic, but you started it, Charles. So
Hey, no, no,
it
intelligent.
was one of my personal criteria before getting married, like people have, and if you don't, you should. I had some things that were like absolutes, like if this wasn't the case, then it just wasn't going to happen. And at the top of the list was they just have to be smarter than me.
All right. So
Some girls don't have a problem, like they don't care. But for
yeah.
me, it was, a huge issue. I was like, oh no. And probably why I got married so late in life, because along with the other, I had I had like 4 or 5 that were like absolutes, and I was starting to get to the point where I was like, well, maybe I should get rid of 1 or 2 of them, because, I didn't get married till my 30s. I think mid 30s. No,
same here. I was like 32, but
yeah,
but to me it was a
yeah.
big mistake. But anyways, um,
I
anyways,
knew that.
so I wanted to explain like what you do as far as like you founded the Frederick Douglass Foundation of New
Yeah,
York. That I know this is like your own opinion. It has nothing to do with the Frederick Douglass Foundation and stuff like that. But just explain about yourself a little bit, if you can.
sure. Well, yeah. So I did found the Frederick Douglass Foundation of New York. We are a nationwide organization. You can go to fdfnational.org if you wanted to find out more about us. No, we're not a Black organization. Okay. Frederick Douglass was married to a white woman. Okay. His second wife was white. Yes. And during that time, you know what I mean? And it was kind of a big deal, especially him being whipped within inches of his life, chased out of town, all sorts of things, and so he was not obviously the type who was like, hey, one white person, everybody's the same. He understood biblically, right, that we have a sin nature. And so he attributed, sinful acts and injustices to individuals, not to groups of people like everybody loves to do today. But so the Frederick Douglass Foundation, we do a lot. So there's 2 of us. There's 2 groups. There's the Frederick Douglass Foundation, and then there's the Douglass Leadership Institute. They're sister organizations, very similar, but just one's 501c3, one's 501c4. I started the New York chapter, and now I oversee the presidents in the various states. We have 15 chapters, so we have chapters in 15 different states, and so I help kind of get them up and running, make sure that they need the things that they do. And that's really, so one plank of what we do really is raising up leaders, helping people understand what it means to be a servant leader and how it is that you are a good leader, like how you allow people to, I don't know if there's this one book, not that it's the greatest, but it's like Peacocks in a Land of Penguins. And it really is, and it just, different leadership styles and how you're able to apply. So that's part of what we do. But the bulk of it in the Frederick Douglass Foundation really is about politics, helping people understand, people ask how I don't get burnt out by, again, we're going to be talking about some things and how I don't get jaded or burnt out on doing it. It's because you have to understand that we're in the people business. We're in the business of changing the hearts and minds of people. There's a culture war. And as the hearts and minds of people change, so does politics. And too often, what people want to do is focus on the politics. They want to focus on the laws and think that that's the thing that's going to change people. And it really doesn't. The media, all the things, even with pushing out, that's why they work so hard, right? To try and get, especially a lot of these social issues, to why they hit them so hard. They're like, oh, you're a politician. You shouldn't be talking about these social issues and this and that. And yet it's all they really do, right? Because they understand that that's part of the propaganda machine, is figuring out how you address particular issues that are in the hearts and minds of people. And we do it from a conservative biblical worldview. And I should only have to say biblical worldview, but with the nature of the world, you have to put conservative in there, which is kind of sad. But yeah, so we are devoted Christians, proud Americans, active Republicans. In New York, we are on the midst of changing that to active citizens. California has already changed that last plank from active Republicans to active citizens. Not that we are not Republican, not that we're not conservatives, but there are a lot of issues within the Republican party, and even in New York, the conservative party. New York is very different, that a lot of states don't have a conservative party. So people, like there's conservatives, but in actual, like all the different parties that we have in New York, it's actually a little bit unique to us. So even when I'm talking with some of my cohorts in the Frederick Douglass Foundation, they're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? It's like, no, it's an actual party. They're like, well, shouldn't the Republicans be conservative? You're like, yeah, you think so. But again, in New York, even with conservative Republican parties, you guys can see, right? I mean, I've almost left the Republican Party several times to join the Conservative Party. But, Frederick Douglass was a Republican. He said, may my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth if I ever were to speak out against the party of freedom and progress, because it is the Republican Party that, as a woman, as a Black person in America. Look, my chickens are all coming over. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. I'm like, what are you guys all doing? They're gonna eat me or something. So really, no, look. See?
Oh yeah, yep.
They all started coming over. Sorry. But we owe a lot to the Republican Party. A lot of Republicans don't understand their own history. And that's again, in the Frederick Douglass Foundation, that's one of the things we do. We address things from a historical point of view, biblical first, historical, economically, and we go and looking at these different issues and how do we address them from a fundamental root standpoint, and really help people understand how we are supposed to operate, how we're supposed to be good citizens, and preaching the gospel to all the world. And it doesn't stop at the foot of politics, right? God didn't say, oh no, politics, no more Jesus. That's not what happened. So that's a long, usually the short thing is, we are a public policy and educational organization. We are made up of politicians, faith leaders, like pastors, and I'm a chaplain myself. Academics, there are a lot of academic type of people, right? Think tanks, different things like that. Activists, all those people that really care about their communities. And we try to bring them all together and address these hardest hitting issues that are facing our communities. And every community is a little bit different. So that's, kind of the long and short of it, I guess, more the long end of what it is that we do. We do everything from showing movies, holding seminars, doing, we just did a entrepreneur, helping connect, because again, economically speaking, right? I mean, like when we talk about liberty and freedom, you want people to be free. And part of that is from the economic standpoint, right? We look at the welfare system and how it is just devastating our country because it's not a safety net, it's a spider web. And so what does that mean? And how do we break that apart for people and help them to understand what it is that's actually happening? And so we do want people to become business owners, right? When things like COVID happened, right? If you were your own business, you could have, not to say that a lot of business owners didn't bow and kowtow to the political machine anyway, but they didn't have to. And those that didn't fared pretty well, right? I mean, there were those businesses that stepped up and said, no, you can't tell me what to do with my business. And the more business owners, small businesses that we have, the better off individuals are going to be. It's the engine of America. So anyway, so I won't go any more into that because I know that we're not really here to talk about that particular thing, although I could do it all day long.
I can talk to you all day long, but I know this could actually literally go on for hours if we let it go that far.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
There's so much to talk, and there's so many different issues. New York. I mean, New York is a hot mess. We are definitely like bottom 3 or 4 in the nation. I'd say, California, New York, and then, again, kind of goes down from there. And California, at least, though, I do think you are seeing some really great things happening there where you're seeing pockets of hope spring up in California. We do have a Frederick Douglass Foundation chapter in New York. Kevin McGarry is the president there. Walter Foy founded it. But
in California or New York?
In California.
Okay.
That's our California chapter. And, and again, they're doing some great things there. But part of the difference is, right, and maybe that'll get into, right, when we're talking about the BS in New York politics, part of that is you have, again, even though they took that Republican plank out because the Republican Party is going so far to the left, which, again, we see that in New York as well, is that you do have these pockets. They have counties of Republican chairmen and stuff that are starting to listen, right, to the advice that we're giving them. You can look at places like Virginia, North Carolina, that were, even Maryland now, but places that were like kind of red and then they're going purple and then struggling to be blue. Frederick Douglass Foundation comes in like, hey, these are some of the things that you can do in order to really till the ground to reverse what is happening in your state. New York, they don't want to listen to it. That's the truth. The leadership does not want to listen to it. Every so often we've had a few that have started to poke their head up and said, okay, let's go for it. But for the most part, if they're, and again, I don't even care who gets credit, to be honest. So that's one of the things. You'll see a lot of things that happen within politics nationwide. And I'll tell you, Dean Nelson, who is our chairman for Frederick Douglass Foundation and the Douglass Leadership Institute, he is in the thick of things. Like he does help write legislation, works with people. He's right in DC, Virginia area. He's there all the time. It isn't like, just little peons that don't know what they're talking about, but that's how they want to treat you, right? That's how they want to treat us as individuals. And again, moving away from Frederick Douglass Foundation, I think that's part of the issue, part of the problem that we have in New York politics is that you don't really see, right? I mean, you have this proletariat, right, section of elitists that want to not just look down on, but they want to control as well. They want to control the people, right? And we can talk about progressives and we can talk about Democrat, again, because I'm Republican, I know not everybody is. And the same problem, you're going to see the same problem in the Democrat Party. So don't get me wrong. The Republican Party in New York is filled with progressives, filled with them. We have been thoroughly infiltrated by progressives. And if you really get down to talking to them about some of the very specific conservative issues, again, whether it be gun laws or the pro-life issue, it doesn't matter. You will hear that progressive one world government type of thing, economics. We're talking about the value of the dollar, oil, different things, the environment. You will hear it come out of their mouths, right? I personally, I would say it's got to be probably about 15 years now. I completely stopped doing the whole voting for lesser of two evils thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know something. I'm like I like to tell people, I'm not registered to vote. I'm registered to vote, but I'm not registered into a party. When I went to register to vote, I kept it blank because you know it's like the two wings of the same eagle type thing, the
Yeah.
same bird. And
Yeah.
and I like within the last 8 weeks, I realized I've never been involved locally in politics. We talked
Yeah.
about this,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how deep the swamp really is in New York.
Yeah.
And
Well, and even though, again, I love, I will take people as long as you're registered to vote, not in a party. That is great. I will say, which we might disagree a little bit here, Charles, just a
that's
little
fine.
bit.
That's fine.
Um, I do think that it's in part important to be registered in a particular party because, unfortunately, in America, we are a two-party. And our founding fathers warned against this, that we should
Yes.
not be a two-party um, nation, and when that happens, then they can use that against, and we'll always be butting heads, and we see
Yes.
that now.
Yes.
But being in a particular party, the power of that really is being on your local committees and being able to vote in the primaries.
That's
When
what
you're not,
that's
yeah,
my regret is not being able to vote in the primaries. That's my biggest regret. And I didn't
yeah,
find out until afterwards, until it's too
yeah,
late. But anyways, go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, and that is why, like, when I think about leaving the party, Republican Party specifically. Again, I love the Republican Party. I owe them my freedom. I owe them my life. I am loyal to them. And, which is why I fight so hard within this party to make sure that it rights its ship, right? Because I do not believe that we should allow the people that are taking over our party to, oh, hold on, can you see me?
I see your picture.
Okay, sorry, I don't even know how to end. Like, somebody's calling me and I'm
Oh,
on my phone, so I don't know
right.
how to make it stop. But anyway,
There you go. There you go. There you go.
so I have a loyalty to this party, as a woman, as I said, as a Black woman, that is a double loyalty. And I'm not willing to let these people take over and destroy my party and what it is that was fought for so hard. And I'm very hard on the Republican Party because it's my party. I can talk, we talk smack about the Democrat Party all the time, but that's not my party. They're doing the same thing we are, but that's for them to hold those people accountable. What we have to do is hold our party accountable, right? This is the things that I'm saying. This is what my values are. This is where I stand for, or this is what I stand for. That means, just like in my church or anything else, well, I better, if we don't get it right, how can I expect those people that I'm trying to woo over to us and say, hey, we kind of have things right, to look at the same hot mess and expect them to be like, oh yeah, I want to be part of that. I've literally had people that are conservative, that are either independents or registered Democrats, say, Ayesha, I see the way the Republican Party treats you. Why would I want to go over and be part of that? Because they do respect me, and I've been working on them for years. And I don't even have an answer for them. I have to actually say, okay, I get that. We are supposed to be the party that wants free thinkers, right? Yes, we show a united front at the end of things, but even behind the scenes, we have a severe problem where the only people that they want at the table are the people that they can control in a bunch of yes men.
Exactly. I wanted to get into it. Now we're getting into the good stuff. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're getting into good stuff.
No, go ahead. Yeah. That's
no, something like I've never been involved locally politically about what was going on. I've always looked at like the world events and the president and the big government stuff that was going on, and how they, and everything really revolves around like the government thinking that people are dumb, that they need to tell them what needs to be done because people are too stupid to think on their own. And I've come to realize that that's the Republican Party here. People are too stupid to think on their own. We know best. We got the guy for governor. This is the guy we're endorsing. You have no say because you guys don't know better. But I'll tell you what, I see a big, huge change. Not that I've really noticed it before or anything, but I get the feeling that there's a big change going on here in New York, that people are saying, no, we are now deciding and giving them
hope
the
so.
happy finger. We're making the decision now. You're not going to tell us who we should be supporting. You know, just like the media guides people along right into who they want. And my biggest red flag is
Yeah,
when the media starts pushing somebody out there, that's a big red flag to me. And as soon as I
yeah,
saw that for the governor here, I went, not, I'm not dealing with that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
people have to start thinking on their own and saying, listen, the media is not going to control me. The party's not going to control me. I'm going to think on my own. And I think that's the biggest thing that everybody's got to start doing.
Well, and again, we are the party though, and that's part of it, right? And that's what I was talking about before. Even getting on your local committee, right? I mean, it's my party. You can't invite me to my party.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's mine, and we have a responsibility individually to go to. And I know that they suck. I know that these committee meetings. I mean, it's such a minimal amount of time. People, first off, I just have to say, you're like, oh, I don't have time. Yes, you do. You're talking about an hour a month. Okay.
Mhm.
So you're talking 12 hours a year. And then on top of it, there might be a couple of events extra that you might have to do. So let's add another 5 hours. Actually, let's be generous and over the top. You're talking 20 hours a year, right? And when it's not even that, that's what
Yeah.
you're talking about. To be part of something in order to change the climate of this state. Because if you do not join your local committee and start vocalizing what it is that you think and feel and how you think things should be and how they should run and who you think should get the nomination, it's never going to change, right? And we could, within 2 election cycles, completely turn New York around. And the way that you do that is you join your local committee. And again, there is a process to do that. And it's a elected position. Like, you actually pass petitions for yourself. And, you know, again, depending on your district, you're going to need anywhere from 12 to maybe 50 signatures, right? To go around, and they can't keep you off of your local committee. If you pass your petitions and you get your signatures, even if they don't want you there because you don't think like them, because they're like, oh no, right? They're ashamed of people like us. They're ashamed of liberty, freedom thinkers. They look at us like we are imbeciles. They think that we don't know what's going on, that we don't see what they're doing. The problem is that most of the time what we're doing is we have lives, right? We didn't join the political movement in order to have a paycheck, in order to have a career. And that's what these people are doing now. And that's why you see them in office, right? And again, here's another thing, right? Talking about the BS. Why is it that you get to become a congressman or whatever it is, and you get to go and be in for, I think it's 10 or 12 years, and then you get a lifetime pension? What is that? I mean, you don't even get that if you're a police officer.
Even if like 2 years, if you're in only for 2 years, you got your lifetime. You're good to go.
No, I don't think it's not lifetime.
4,
I think it's 10 years. I think you have to actually be, I mean, again, I'd have to go check that. It could be,
right.
It could have changed. You could be right. I don't know. I shouldn't say that.
I don't know. I don't know myself. Like I said, I'm local politics stuff. I'm not really familiar with it.
It was 10 years that you had to be in office or hold some sort of public office. And even if, like, let's say you only were in for like 2, for 8 years, you could then go pick up and then just work in the office of somebody and get those other 2 years, which is what they do, it's part of the scam of what they do and how they corral people into being controlled, right? Is they bribe them with jobs. Okay. And they say, oh, well, you know what? You didn't get elected, but hey, if you go work over here, you get your other 2 years, 4 years, or we look at someone like Claudia Tenney, who is now, carpetbagging, looking for the right district for her to be in so that she could get some more, years. And I like Claudia, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't think she's like the best. If I put her up to other politicians, people running, in office in other states and more conservative states, she doesn't probably hold up that well. But in New York,
No,
it's as sad as we are, she holds up pretty well. But right now, I'm not, again, she's actually running in my district. So that's what I'm talking about her and Mario Frado. or in a primary, and looking at it, right? I mean, I would take Fraudo all day long because he more adheres to my personal values. I think that he is more conservative. I think he will actually champion some issues that are important to me personally. And then he actually isn't, searching for the right district to be in. And I think that is,
And he's not
I think that's
controlled.
shady.
He's not
I think it's
controlled.
shady. Yeah, I mean, like,
He's not
again,
controlled.
he's not controlled yet, but again, he might get in there a couple of times, but I think that we could hold him more accountable. I think Claudia's on that fence where, hey, lady, I mean, you get in that swamp, like you were talking about, that swamp runs deep, and they
Yeah.
go in there and they work you over, and I think that even but again, this is our fault. Do not get me wrong. It is our fault that when we see some of these politicians, or again, they should be servant leaders, some of these people who are in office, we see them going bad, and yet we go and elect them anyway.
Again
Why
and
do we
again and
elect
again, again
we
and
do
again
it?
and again. Yeah.
Right. And why do we do it? Because we're like, oh, they're better than the Democrat. No, they're not. They're literally not. No, you know what I'm saying?
I know. Yes.
If we're not holding our people accountable, if we're not saying, listen, I see what you are doing and it is wrong. I mean, we're already in a blue state. At least we can do is say, hey, I am not going to go along with these shenanigans. I am going to say, no, you give me someone decent. You remain decent. You listen to my voice. You listen to what I'm saying, because you are supposed to represent me.
Right. I want to bring something up real quick, like how I see things. All right.
Sure.
This is how I see it, as far as like with the party and everything else. And I think this happens on both Democrat and Republican parties. All right. Now I see it like this: when you start going up the chain of command in the Republican Party or the Democrat Party, now you have people running for office somewhere. If you don't align with what they agree with, they kick you to the curb, or they'll give you a hard time about it, because they want people that they can control. The people that they cannot control are the ones they do not even want to deal with whatsoever. All right, we have Mario Frado. Right now, he cannot be controlled. Why would they send somebody else in from another district to come here? Why would they support that? Why would they support, like, yeah, I'm an Andrew Giuliani fan, no doubt, 100%. Why would they not support somebody when they sit there and claim that they're all Trump supporters, they're all this, they're all that? But when it comes to supporting the one guy who comes out and speaks probably more stuff than Trump ever did, and more vocal about more stuff, why are they not getting behind him? Because he cannot be controlled. That's how I see it. So they want people that are going to be controlled. There's a lot of good politicians, not for nothing, in our area. Jim Van Betterode, great guy. There's a lot of great people. There's Marcus C. Williams, great, running for assembly. Yeah. There's a lot of great people, but
no love from the party.
But yeah, but it's like, if I kind of see it like, if they don't kind of like align a little bit with them or whatever, they're going to get kicked to the curb, and they will find, to me, like I said, my opinion, they will find somebody else to replace you that they can control. And that's the bullshit that I'm tired of. All right. I see it. I see all this stuff. I see everything that's going on with the Republican Party. Like I said, I'm not a Republican. I'm just an individual that just thinks on my own. But I get text messages, I get screenshots of all this stuff that's going on, all the bullshit that's going on. I don't even think they realize this. I don't know why they send me all this stuff. There's people that are trying to friend request me that are chief of staff of this person and that person and everything else. I get all this stuff, and it's like, it's crazy. And it's like, I'm seeing information I'm seeing a lot of information that I really don't even want to know about, but it's like, I'm seeing it. And that's why it drives me nuts that this bullshit is going on. And that's why I created this channel.
Yeah. Well, and you just touched on something. I mean, that's the amazing part too, is that how much fear, they talked about like Cuomo ruling in fear, right? But part of, and when we're talking about controlling, let's be very clear about that. We're talking about like literal control, like they have something on you, they can blackmail you. You have a job that you want, or your business is dependent on some sort of government contract or something, right? And so when we're talking about control, we're saying that somehow they can put their thumb on you, and that when it's time to put the pressure on, they can know that you are not going to buck the system, because if you do, what it is that you're going to lose is too much, right? For you, right? Whether it's money, whether it's your maybe it's not your particular job, maybe it's your spouse's job, maybe,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like somehow they can control you, and it is dirty and it's wrong,
And this is
right?
both
We're supposed
parties. Both
to be
parties do
parties
this.
of integrity.
Both parties do this. So
They do. They absolutely, absolutely, they both do it, and that is, I mean, it's part of the problem. And again, think about our founding fathers. That's what they, you know, right? It was supposed to be, you go in, you have your own business, your own stuff. You go in, you do what you got to do, you get something done. Maybe there's a law or something that you were like, dude, this needs to get passed. There's something going on that's not right. They would go in there, they get it done, and then you get out. You don't sit in there for 30 years,
making
40
money,
years.
making all this money.
Right, making all this money. I mean, how
Backroom
could you
deals, backroom deals.
you're insider trading. You're
Yes.
allowed to basically be an insider trader if you are a public official. That's crazy. My, you know, again, if my person who does investing or whatever, if they tried to do that, they'd be in jail. I mean, again, look at not Chris Jacobs. He took over for Chris. I see his face. What's his name?
I'm not
Went
sure.
to jail. Huh? It wasn't Chris Jacobs. Chris Jacobs took his seat. Chris Collins. Look at Chris Collins.
All right.
Right? That's what he got in trouble for, basically, was insider trading. Right? But why? They all do it. How did he get, you know, why did he get in trouble? Well, because they really needed to get rid of him. And they thought that they could take that seat if they got rid of, you know, again, whoever he made mad, you know, he made somebody mad and they took it. But that was such a strange situation, because you're like, well, all of you do the same thing. You all tell your loved ones what stocks and stuff to get and this and that. And then all of a sudden, randomly, somebody will get in trouble for something that they all do. And then you know that there was some backroom deal somewhere, something happened, you know. And again, it's not even necessarily like they're the good guy. I'm, you know, again, I will admit, I did help Chris Collins the first time he ran. He seemed like he was one of us, but I didn't after that, because I saw the writing on the wall, right? And that's the difference between me and everybody else, is I would rather see us lose. You hear me? Y'all hearing what I'm saying? I would rather see us lose than put somebody in that is just as bad as the other person. Just because they have an R behind their name doesn't mean they are the person that we should vote for. And we have to stop thinking that way.
You know, here's something that I think we might have talked about before, was that the whole, like, I see it as like some people that are running, like, I don't get, first of all, I don't get how the Republican Party can endorse people that are wanting to put laws in against the Second Amendment. How can they endorse people that are doing that? I mean, not for nothing. To me, I almost kind of think like, are they looking for self-destruction in these races? Are they looking to not win because they're endorsing these people like Chris Jacobs, that's totally not a Second Amendment person, or not for nothing with Claudia Tenney, who's looking, you know, who's voting for transgender bathrooms and stuff like that. I'm just saying, are they looking to self-destruct? Because I don't get it. And I also look at it as like this. And then again, talk all you want, because you know I love listening to you. But
No, go ahead.
but to me, it's almost as if there's a lot of like people that have been in office already. They're almost as if they're like double agents. All right, they'll sit there and they'll vote for something that the people want, like, you know, for the Second Amendment or for certain rights and this and that. But then they'll turn around and they'll vote for something, and let's say vote for something for a different entity, we'll call it. All right, for a different reason. So they kind of play both sides. So they're like double agents.
Exactly.
Like one person it's working for one country, then maybe another country or something, you know. And that's how I see it. They're like double agents.
And, you know, and I think that is actually probably its own show all on its own, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it's very complicated. When you know, again, if you were to break all of that down, you know, bird's eye view part of it, there's different avenues in that. Part of it is, I do think that you have those progressives that are in our party that really do believe in things like gun control, that, girls, that dudes should play in girls' sports, the transgender bathroom. I think there are those that honestly believe that are in the Republican Party. Again, we have log cabin Republicans, but are those infiltrators, right? A lot of them, I think, again, so that's one end. I don't want to go too deep into it. I don't know how long we have.
Like we said,
Then you also have,
we could talk for hours. I know. We'll keep it short. Go ahead.
then you have those people, I think that, you ever heard the term neocon?
Yeah.
Right. So most people, which is really weird, if you look at the history of the word neocon, it actually was more of, and again, happened to be Jewish people that kind of made the switch, which I am pro-Israel, pro-Jew. I'm a Christian. Jesus was a Jew. So I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying the history of that term neocon, right? Was you had these socially liberal Jewish people that were fiscally conservative that switched over to the Republican Party, and they kind of were, that's where it came from. And then it kind of morphed into neocon, like hard right, like you're a neocon. People, and the only reason I research is because people would call me a neocon. And if a neocon was a far right as you could get person, I would own neocon. I'd be like, yes, I am, because you don't get more right than I am. You know what I mean? Like I am I don't care. I'm a far right extremist, like that's who I am.
You're a patriot. You're a patriot.
Yeah, again, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Yeah. But that isn't what the neocon was, right? Like, and so now, like, if you look at it, you have this group of people that they're basically neocons, right? They are socially conservative. I mean, socially, not conservative. They're socially progressive, but they're more fiscally conservative, right? And so on fiscal issues, they are super conservative, but then on all of these social issues, they're super liberal, right? And so you have that faction as well, right? And then, yeah, I'm just talking within the Republican Party. So now we have these two factions. Then you have those people who are, I think they honestly believe like we do, but they don't see a pathway to victory without bending their values to what is a blue state, right? And they look at it and they're like, well, if I talk about that, I'm going to be land-based. And that's kind of where the Frederick Douglass Foundation comes in, is those people saying, listen, can we teach you how to talk about the issues and vary your messaging, right? Like the message is the same, but how do you talk to various groups about a particular issue so that they can hear what it is that you're saying and you can win them over, right? Without the media completely destroying it. And I think that there's that group of people, right, that are there and they're like, and you have the Republican Party in their ear, right? The elites, the establishment saying, you better not say that. If you say that, you're never going to win. Oh my gosh, you better. And they're like, oh, okay, well, these guys know what they're talking about. I'm like, but they lose all the time. What are you talking about? Why are you listening to these people? Look at the state of New York, guys. They're not winning. We're not winning. But they do. They, for some reason, think that if they keep doing the same thing, that all of it, again, and Trump should have taught us that. You know what I mean? Trump didn't even articulate the stuff well enough, and he still was able to get people to win over. Crazy, right? So, I mean, come on, take a listen, take a hint. Then you have the people who they don't care, and these are the people that I fight against, is this fourth faction. And there is one more faction, but I'm going to stop with this one. But that fourth faction is the people that I personally fight against the hardest. And that's the people, they really don't care if you win or lose. All they care about is as long as you are raising enough money to keep the money laundering scheme of the establishment going, they don't care. They'll say whatever it is, because they're still getting access. They're still getting power. They're still being able to feign that they have some sort of power. You ain't got no power in a blue state. They're the ones making the backroom deals with the other side, being like, oh, hey, you keep the city and then we'll take the suburbs. Well, how has that worked out for you? How's that worked out for you? You know what I'm saying? Like these people who, again, and this isn't like hearsay. This is stuff that I know on a personal level, right? Because been there, done that. Like, so now as Pittsford, Henrietta, okay, because I'm using Monroe County just because you're there. All these little places in the county are, I mean, Monroe County is now purple. You know what I'm saying? And it's about to go blue because you're making deals with the devil that is not going to keep their deal. They're dishonest in all they're doing, and everybody sees it. Oh, well, that seems kind of weird. Look at what's going on right now with there's a judge race. I won't mention any names, but there's a family court judge race where the Conservative Party has literally endorsed a progressive Democrat.
It's insane. It's insane.
What?
I know who you're talking about too, but yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
just saying, like, what is that? So again, we're talking about the Republican Party, but hey, conservatives, if you guys are listening, you guys better start holding your party accountable too, because and really the Conservative Party for the most part does whatever the Republican Party tells them to. They go because there's not enough of them. And I do think that the chairman of Monroe County is trying to make some kind of power moves, but y'all need to get rid of him. I don't even know what his name is. I can't remember, but y'all need to get rid of him, because if you are endorsing a progressive Democrat over an actual true conservative, as a and in a judge race, which judges are so important, you need to get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? You need to get rid of these people. And you guys, instead of playing the game, instead of saying, hey, these people, right, again, in this faction here, what they care about is that they have access to power. They're greedy. They want to make sure that they fund the party, that the party has money. And so they have access to all these people that have money. And then they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. The same graphic designers, the same campaign managers, the same people that are making the signs. They recycle all the same people, and everybody is just getting rich, all the same website makers, whoever it is. And it doesn't matter if the candidate wins or loses, right? That isn't okay.
Yeah.
And we should be stepping up as individuals. This is our party. Take ownership of your party. That's, you know what I mean? That's all I'm asking. And again, I get it. I get that threatens the establishment. But, Rush taught me something very, again, those times when I do feel discouraged, because, again, I have a family. I have a daughter graduating in a week. I had a daughter that just opened up a business. I still have a 17-year-old. I have horses. I have family. I have a husband. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm free to just go off and gallivant in politics because I'm getting paid so much money. Okay, I get paid zero. Okay, I do this because I'm passionate about it, because I believe in it, because I have values, because I believe in justice, integrity, righteousness, and then we're putting these things forward. And so it doesn't matter if I'm getting paid or not. I'm going to do it anyway. But Rush said, right? He was talking about himself, but I took it to heart for myself, that if they didn't make you, they can't break you. Right? I've said that to you before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's what the party doesn't like. The reason they can't break me is because they didn't make me. You didn't do anything to help me. And if anything, with the work that I do, I help the Republican Party.
Yeah. All right, Ayesha, I think it's time to wrap it up, because people's attention span is, I mean, we can, like I said, we can go out for hours. I know we can go out for hours. I love listening to what you say, because you're, like I said, you're very smart when it comes to a lot of stuff like that,
I don't know if I'm smart, just, opinions.
No, you know the ins and outs of a lot of things. I know you know that. And but anyways, I want to do this again in the future. All right. But I just want to make this real quick point, and then you could let everybody know how they can get a hold of you and everything like that. But I see it like this, that there's actually, like, in my mind, my little brain, my little world, I see almost like the patriots are saying, the people that love the Constitution, love the country, love the state, are saying, no, no, no. I almost kind of see another party forming. All right. Like the Patriot Party going, no. All right. You're not telling us what to do. We're going to think on our own. We're going to do it our way. And I think the Republican Party needs to pay attention to that, because I don't think they see that happening. They need to see that the people are going, no, no, no. You're not going to tell us who to vote for. They need to wake up, because they need to know that their tactics, that what they're doing right now, is not working. And they need to come to terms.
They're bully tactics.
They are, and they need to come to terms that what they're doing is not working, and they're going to be in for a big shock come November, even June 28th, or what is it, August 23rd. They're going to see a big shock that the people that they're supporting, people are saying they're giving them the happy finger and saying, no, it ain't happening. All right.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I hope that you're right. I hope that people do stick to your guns. You know, I mean, like we see these rises, and I think the party will probably wait to see how those things do turn out, because you'll see these ups, these ebbs and flows within the patriot movement where they'll go. And then it's almost like people get in the voting booth and then they get scared, and they're like, even though they believe this way. And then, so I hope that you're right.
I see it everywhere
Charles,
around me. I see it everywhere around me. I know a lot of different people, just like you do.
I hear you. I mean, like I said, I hope so. I hope that when they go in, that they actually stick to their guns, because I hear it, like you said, I hear it like you are.
Yeah.
And if, and remember, I mean, these people do cheat as well. They do stuff the ballot box, but so you have to really vote in overwhelming numbers for the person that you're trying to push against the establishment. And you need to make sure that you're getting out the vote. You're getting people as well. Like if you're for Frado, if you're for Giuliani, or again, if you're for anyone but Zeldin, pretty much, you need to make sure that you're getting your people out to vote, because that's the important part, right? The reason that, and I'll end with this. I know we're going to end. The Republican Party has a base, the establishment. They have a base of people that are always going to come out and vote for who they tell them to vote for. We have to be able to match that number and exceed it in order for us to win. And we haven't mastered that yet. There are some techniques, and I think that there's some ways that if we as Liberty leaders kind of got together, that we could make that happen. If we don't do it this time around, I hope people don't get discouraged. I think that the next time around that we can do it, if people really are serious about making this statement that you're talking about, right? That if we're saying, hey, we are going to exert ourselves in this way. The Tea Party almost did it.
Yeah.
And then they got co-opted and infiltrated and stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
But we should, hopefully we learn from that. And this next time around that we say, hey, okay, we know that these people are going to get 4,000 people out to vote. Where are our 4,001 people, right? Where are our 5,000 people that we know that we can count on as a base? And we have to do that if we're really serious about winning.
And I think it needs to happen now. I think that
I do too.
I don't think we have time for another election. I think it's now or never. And I think a lot of Democrats and libertarians and independents, I think a lot of people are going, hold on. That's my opinion. I think they're going, hold on. Even Democrats are going, something's not right here. Something's not right here.
But again, primaries, they can't vote in our primary.
They can't.
If we don't get the right person up, if we can't get them, then that's what always happens to us, Charles, is that we can't get people past the primary. And so the only one that we're then left with, like if Zeldin wins, then everybody's like, oh, well, I guess I better go. I won't vote for him. I'll be honest. Y'all can say whatever you want. Yeah. I won't. I will not do it. I will say, nope, I will go with the devil that I do know versus the devil that I don't know. And it's my party and I'm going to hold you accountable. And I'm sick and tired of you giving me these people that don't represent us, because you're doing that, right? Like if they would have put Zeldin up and done it properly, right? And not been like if they would have gave everyone even playing field
and not jamming them down people's throats,
instead of damming them down our throat, I would probably have a little bit, I'd still be skeptical of him, but at least I'd have a little bit more respect for him and the party. He should have even said, listen, we're going to stop doing this. There's supposed to be 4 debates. There's supposed to be 4 primary debates, and like we might get 2. And they were crappy anyway. You know what I mean? Like as a candidate, you should step up and say, you know what, I want to do this the proper way. No, stop. I know that it's going to benefit me, but in the end, it's really not, right? Half the people didn't even know that Sheriff Carpinelli was running.
He's the one that made, he's the one. I know, because the media never covered. He was like, he started running in March, but they never talked about him. And then when I saw, not for nothing, here's my red flag. When I saw the media, like I said, I don't watch the news. I see it on social media and this and that. When I saw him with Zeldin being pushed out, I'm going, red flag, red flag. Yeah. And that's it. But Mike Carpinelli, he's the one when he endorsed Giuliani, because everybody I know loved Mike Carpinelli. Everybody
Yeah.
loved the guy because he was for the Constitution. He stuck up for his people, and he sticks up
Yeah.
for for people's rights. And when he endorsed Andrew Giuliani, I didn't even know who Andrew Giuliani was. I thought he was just writing off his father's name. But when he did that, I started looking into him, and I started going. So
Huh.
it's really Sheriff Mike Carpinelli is the one that got me into Giuliani, because I talked to him in March of last year. This is great, and like I said, we can probably go on forever and ever with all this stuff. But I talked to him last March, not the one that just the previous March, about coming to one of the ride rallies. And when I talked to him, and when he started going, he was talking, didn't know me from a hole in the ground, and he was talking, he was letting me have it about what he thought about Cuomo and everything else. And I'm going, this guy doesn't know me from a hole in the ground. I like this guy because he was not afraid to speak what he thought, not knowing me
Right.
from nothing. He was
Right.
it was
He
like,
didn't know if you thought the same way or not. He was
exactly,
just saying, that's all I want too.
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I might not agree with you all the time. We're not going to agree.
Yeah.
I don't expect me to agree. All I want to, like, show me respect. I'll show you respect. The places that we disagree, let's figure out, like, as long as I know where you truly stand,
Yes.
right? Even if I disagree with you, I can still be like, all right, I can still vote for you. I'm under no delusion that I'm going to agree with someone 100% of the time.
Well,
If you show me someone I agree with 100% of the time, I'll show you a liar.
There's a problem, yeah. But no, when I talked to him, that fabulous Ayesha Kreutz right there. No, when I first talked to him, right after I got the phone, I'm going, that's my guy right there.
Yeah.
That's my guy. And it was like, I don't know, I'm not even sure if anybody really knew about him. I found him by accident online, and then I found him on another website that I'm not going to say because it's crazy. But I seen him on there, and I'm going, oh, this guy, knows this guy. I'm going, and after talking to him, I'm like, this is my guy. Then when he endorsed Andrew Giuliani, I'm going, he's not doing that for a reason. And I started looking into Andrew. I'm going, this guy is for real too. And now I know why he endorsed him. And anyhow, all right, Ayesha, we got to get going because, like I said, we can go on for hours.
I know.
I want to do it. I want to do it again. I want to do it again.
Yeah,
I love talking to you.
Again.
I love talking.
Yeah, I love talking to you too. I think that I mean, again, we can pound it out.
Yeah.
We should find something that we disagree on, and we can go at it.
Go ahead. I don't know. No, you scare me because you're too smart. You scare me with that stuff.
Oh, stop! You are just as smart, Charles. Don't even go there.
All right. But, so anyway. Again, tell people where they can reach you if they want to know more about everything.
Well, again, even though I'm not speaking right now for Frederick Douglass Foundation, again, these are my opinions. And how we work as an organization is different. But you can check out the Frederick Douglass Foundation, sign up, become a member, www.fdfny.org if you are in New York. So it's just Frederick Douglass Foundation, New York, right? The first letter of each one.org. If you're not in New York and you happen to be watching, it's fdfnational.org. Otherwise, I don't know, you can find me on social media. I'm mostly on Facebook. That's my venting post where I go and I just, post stuff. I don't necessarily get to engage as much as I want because, we're all super busy. But when I'm having a good day or bad day, I usually will post something on there. It's just Ayesha Kreutz, Kreutz. You can look me up, and yeah, it's probably the best way.
And I want to say that I support our freedom-loving neighbors up north in Canada who are going through a lot of crazy stuff, a lot more than we are in New York right now. They're going through crazy stuff, and I support them, and I hope everybody else does. And if we're going to have a border invasion, when we get the right governor in here, if we're going to have a border invasion, I want it from our friends up north. All right,
they bring the beer.
They can bring the beer. They can come down. They can invade. Because why? Because I've been up to Canada many times years ago, and then
really?
They're nice people. They're friendly people up there. The majority are friendly people, good, loving people. And if we're going to have an invasion on our border, I want it coming from Canada up above.
They're not a bunch of social. I'm not. Look, Buffalo Stallions. What? That's not Canada, but it's closer.
But if we get the right governor here, they're going to want to try to get over the border. I'll tell you right now. They will want to get over the border, so that's why we got.
I hope so.
But that'll bring more. That'll bring more to the economy and everything. No, also,
I know. What do you think about
all the people leaving New York? We'll take them in from Canada. Come on down when we get the right governor in here. Help us make this state, the state great again. Let's put it.
Yeah, we only want the patriots in Canada. We don't want the socialists.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you guys stay.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the Democrat? Even with the Democrat primary, I'm interested. I mean, I think Hochul will win it, but I was starting to look at who's in their primary to see if there's a chance of somebody else taking her out.
Why would they even do that? Why would the
What?
Democrat Party even do that?
Do what?
Have somebody else run in the primary against Hochul? Why would they do that?
Well, I mean, anyone can run in a primary, kind of what we're talking about. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, I think that she'll win the primary anyway. But I
Yeah.
was like, oh, let me see who else is there, because that's the weird part. Again, this will probably get me in a lot of trouble. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are all gonna hate me now. But honestly, it doesn't matter. I don't think who our nominee is. I think in the end, the Democrat is gonna win for governor this time around. Sadly,
Unless
we
but go
I
ahead.
know we don't do enough groundwork before an election to, again, kind of what we're talking, that culture war. We don't do enough in the culture war to win people over. And so even as fed up as people are with Hochul, as they should be, I mean, they're like, kind of what I was saying, like when people on the right, you get in there and it's like, will they actually pull the lever for the person that they know in their heart? They're like, I should be voting for Giuliani, let's say, right? And then will they get in there and actually do it or not? That's the part that always is, the $1 million question. The same thing kind of goes for Republican, Democrat. All of these people who are so fed up with Hochul can't, and Cuomo can't stand her. They know that she is terrible. But to vote for, I think Carpinelli was the only one that had a shot for people to actually vote for, because he was so different and out of the box that people might have gave him, if he would have got his signatures, I really do wish he did. I would have helped his campaign, because I think that he would have been able to be polished enough to win over those Democrat votes that we needed.
Mhm.
I don't think that anyone that we have in the field right now can do that, to be honest. And I know you guys can hate me for it.
I don't
I
hate
hope
you.
I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I
I'm
like to
not
think
completely
positive. I like to
wrong.
think positive. I don't hate you for it.
Hey,
I'm a
I'll
positive
hope
person.
for the best, but I plan for the worst. And the truth of the matter is, unfortunately for all of us, 80% of the time, I'm pretty good at calling these races.
Right.
Unfortunately, I wish that
Right.
I wasn't.
All right.
And
All right. Your
yeah,
luck is going to end. Okay.
I hope so. Please let my luck end. I hope that is the case, because I want
Okay.
to see them gone. But anyway, yeah.
All right, Aisha. All right.
All
Good
right.
talking to you. And we'll
Good
do it
talking
again
to you.
soon. We'll do it again soon.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening.
All right.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
having me, Charles.
No problem.